Hello, everyone. This is Memphis Mark along with Maverick, and it's Maintenance Maverick from now on out. I'm correct?
Yes, sir. You are absolutely correct.
All right. Well, I'll make sure I try to remember that. I don't want to piss off a service guy immediately starting a show, so we will go and look, Mav, we are here for the Collision review on 7-1. The only way I know to do it is just kind of dive right into it, I guess. And they started off with the interviews setting up for the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament, of course. Interviews weren't that bad. You had Hobbs and Dustin and Roderick Strong and Samoa and Joe. I mean, what do you think of the start off?
So I really enjoyed, once again, we're seeing just straight into these interviews. It's kind of like a cold open of just any TV show, no opening theme or anything. You just go straight into it, and it just shows a little bit of what we have to come, showing everybody and their opponent just talking back and forth to each other. I really enjoyed hearing Dustin Rhodes, his opening, just talking about that he was a friend of Owen Hart and that he is doing it for Owen this tournament. I really, really enjoyed hearing that just because it shows how long he's been in this business, and it shows how much he has given and how he's still around. Almost all of the guys who were around back then, they're not wrestling anymore, at least not on a weekly basis like he is. What did you think of that, Mark?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, if you look at these matches coming up, Hobbs was probably a kid or a baby when Owen Hart had his tragic accident. And, Dustin's the only one in that group that, could have had the chance to have wrestled with him. So, and Dustin's good, man. It's just his time and his booking, it just never really worked out. Now, when he was younger, man, he got a heck of a push. And, you saw him in championships matches quite a bit in the NWA and down in Alabama and Georgia. It's just a lot of people don't realize what he did, and they just know his father and now his brother. Imagine that, your younger brother and your dad. You're all almost living in those shadows. That can't be easy. That can't be easy.
Right. I mean, you've got, he for so long was just kind of seen as Gold Dust too. And I mean, no disrespect to Dustin with this. He was kind of just a jobber that WWE kind of threw around every once in a while. Like he was on their version of ECW and everything. He just never really got the chance, man. I hate that Vince I want to say he kind of wasted him. I'm going to say it, but yeah.
That could have gone really deep. That could have been some getting back at Dusty, and there's a lot that's a whole nother show, man. We could go into that, but, they come out with MJF, from the start. So we had the champ, and he's going against wait a minute, what is this? Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah.
Morst.
More stuff. Okay, we're just going to refer to him as Jabroni number one. But he was in it. It was his hometown there in Hamilton. Is it Hamilton, Alberto? Is it, Alberto?
Ontario, I believe.
Alberto Del Rio is taking over the country. This match was just what you expected it to be. It's a modified squash match. I can call the match really quick. It's a leg move, corkscrew, boom, boom, bam. It's over. We'll go ahead and start into that. I mean, what did you think of Jabroni number one?
I felt like Jabroni number one was it could have been anybody in the arena, really. They could have pulled somebody from the crowd and just been like, hey, you want to be on TV for 5 minutes? And that's really all this guy was. It felt like he didn't really get to do much. I kind of felt bad for him. I always feel bad for people on the receiving end of a squash match, but this felt like more of just an extension of the promo that was to come. What did you think, man?
Man, I have seen a guy getting ready to go out and get squashed by, I believe, I can't remember what name he was using here locally, but he ended up being Viscera. Carissa, yeah, that's what you said. But yes, I once actually had to throw Wolfie D and Jamie Dundee out of a place, and Wolfie was being polite, trying to get Jamie out, and I turned around and I was staring at almost at a belly button, and I'm not a short guy. But the guy, I just look up thinking the worst is about to happen, and he was as cool could be, very nice, and he apologized and wanted to make sure that, that Dundee wasn't messing them on coming back to the club. So that's my old school story for the moment. But then you have him calling them out, doing the crowd, doing the old school. Nobody in this arena, nobody from Hamilton could do it. And we have the appearance of Mr. Ethan Page. And he comes out, and before he can get all the words out, MJF is trying to say that he's not on his level. And Ethan Page interrupts and does some good work on the stick. I mean, I think, at least, what'd you think?
So I'll be honest, I don't really know much about Ethan Page, but seeing how he came into the ring and the way that he smacked the mic out of his hand to go into his promo, I really enjoyed that. I thought, okay, this guy is actually working with this character, whatever it is. I guess it's all ego, which I like that. He's showing off a little bit more with who he is. The way he went about it and the way he went into that ego, or into the promo, I should say, it was very enjoyable. I really liked seeing it. It kind of felt like almost a typical babyface sort of promo, but hey, it worked for the guy, and it led into a pretty good match. I really enjoyed seeing these two go at each other. Something that really highlighted to me was Ethan Page doing a handstand on the turnbuckle and then taking the kick to the face. That's something I've never really seen before, because I've seen people do that handstand before, like old what was his name? Jack Gallagher used to be in NXT. And
Yeah.
I remember seeing him do the handstand, the turnbuckle for the first time. I don't know how he would feel taking a kick to the face at the same time. What do you think about it?
Well, first of all, if you go on Bill Street past 4:00 at night, you might see somebody doing. But other than that, yeah, you're correct. I haven't seen that actually in the ring. And Ethan Page gets a big black eye at one point in time. I think one of the kicks, and it could have been that kick, the heel or something caught him in his eye, and that eye started swelling up pretty quick. But I do like the fact that they are bringing back some of the basic moves and making them look good. I don't care if they call it popsicle, whatever. I don't care. Whatever, like a single leg crab. I mean, just a single, just something as simple as that. And MJF made it look good, made it look effective. I mean, I like MJF. I mean, and his angle with, his contract being up. I mean, I think it's all pure genius. And, he's the one guy, I think, when the guys from, that other place, when they watch, he's the one guy they're going, Yeah, but it just, MJF, it doesn't have that size sometimes to fit in over there with the Giants. But man, he might prove me wrong. But
So something that I think about MJF and WWE, I'm not sure if they would ever want to sign him, because the character that is over, the character that the fans love, it is basically the Miz on steroids, but so much better. And I feel like if WWE were to hire him, how would they fit him in? Are they going to put him and the Miz together? Are they going to make it so it's, okay, these guys are on separate shows, or are they just going to try to make it so it's avoiding those two being near each other? Because it feels like it's just the Miz, but so much better. The guy has talent. Kind of like my uncle the gardener. He's got the opinion that the Miz is the worst person on earth. I don't really think that as much, but I don't like his performances as much. But I mean, you see MJF walk out. It's Canada Day. He's wearing the Stars and Bars ring gear. Come on, man. That is classic heel stuff. I really loved it. What do you think, going more into MJF's character?
Yeah, man, I think everything about him just glows. And yeah, his the Miz, you the Miz, you said the Miz. But, okay, I could see a little bit of that, but I just think he just has an old school. I bet you could go back if I had the time. We sat down. I bet you I could find 3 old heels that I don't know that he took from those guys, but he does sound a lot like them. And man, there was another guy other than Ric Flair. There was another guy that they were grooming that didn't make it. His name was Buddy Landell, and he was kind of a. Ric Flair had the rich angle. Buddy was more like he was better for the small towns because he could just really get under the crowds and everything. But yeah, he reminds me a little bit of Buddy Landell. And I know Rocky. I think me and Rocky have had a conversation about him, and I know me and Michael have several times. But I do have to say, Mav, we got into all this. Now we ended. Let's see. We'll go back real quickly to the Ethan Page and MJF, but I did not mention that we will not have, of course, Rocky and Michael with us this week because both of them, Michael's on assignment and Rocky, I believe, had to do some big deals, so he had to stay in and do a little work. So sometimes the crew gets moved around, and we're just lucky to have Mav that was available, and we had to wait to do it for me to get available. So just wanted to say, Rocky and Mav, Rocky and Michael, we hope to see you back next week if all possible. That IRL stuff is some real stuff there, man. All right, so we go back. We got Ethan Page. We got to MJF. Their match was pretty good. And like I said, I like some of the basic moves. I like the big black eye. But it ends up with MJF pulling out the win, of course. But I think Ethan Page kind of get a little turn, trying to do a little baby face. So, you don't know a lot about him, but what did you think after seeing this match?
So honestly, I feel like this guy is a main event contender after seeing this match. I feel like it was a very good match overall. It boosted both sides, I want to say. Seeing that this guy could just come out just straight up in his hometown, it was nice to see that he got to perform in front of everybody. It's sad that both the guys from that hometown had to lose tonight. But you know what? It is what it is. It's the business. And he showed that he belongs there tonight, in my opinion. What do you think of him there, Mark?
Man, I totally agree. So now that was the match before we get into the Owen Hart tournament. And the first one that we get in the Owen Hart tournament is Powerhouse Hobbs with QT Marshall and Dustin, Mr. Dustin Rhodes. And look, man, Dustin is the teacher for sure, and he's guiding this match. I'm pretty sure he's telling, controlling the match and making the flow good. But they were definitely trying to highlight Hobbs as much as they can because he's their young guy, he's their future. But Hobbs had a screw up. He went to do the press with Dustin, and I'm sure the sweat and the match had something to do with it too. But Dustin's long, man. He's a tall guy, and so after that they have to do what they do on AEW, man. They got to bust that head, man. He bust that head. So Dustin was the first one to open up to us, and so the match pretty good though. I mean, come on now, give me this younger age opinion of the old guy, the old bull, and the young bull.
What I was seeing was this match told a story from beginning to end. It felt like in the beginning there was a lot of striking, but almost no grappling. It seemed like it was a lot of thrown to the corner. I'm going to hit you a few times, and then he fights back a little bit. It was just going back and forth like that. And at first I was kind of bored by it. I'm like, what is this? And then I start to see they slowly start bringing out these grappling moves, and it's starting to become apparent to me. The story that's unfolding in front of me is, yeah, I've been around for a long time, speaking from Dustin Rhodes' voice or head, whatever you want to call it. His side is saying, I've been around forever, but I can still go. I can still be in this match. I can still be a contender with you, even though you're probably twice my strength and, half my age. I'm still able to keep going with you. That's what I was seeing throughout it, seeing the strikes going back and forth the way it was. It may not have been extremely apparent, but the way that the moves and the match was moving, that's what I was seeing. And especially seeing Dustin Rhodes hitting Big Red, that surprised me. Growing up watching him almost as Goldust, you never really saw anything special out of him. But tonight, I was very impressed with Dustin Rhodes. I really, really enjoyed that. The match itself, if I could rate it, I would give it 4 out of 5. Powerhouse Hobbs and him, they took care of business. But there was one thing that I noticed during it, which was a little strange. I watched through the Fight TV app. Through that, you're not supposed to get commercials mid-match. You're supposed to get picture-in-picture. So I get to just see still what's going on in the ring as you guys are seeing commercials. It, at one point, cut to commercial still. So I was a little bit lost thinking, why is this going on? I think it may have been just a rest point or something for this time in the show, but I'll bring that up again later because it happened again in another match. So, you have any more thoughts on that, Mark, on that match?
Yeah, I would have loved to hear JR going, go red, go red, go red.
Absolutely.
QT gets involved. Yeah, Dustin opens up and Hobbs wins. And after that they got they got another match coming up in the Owen Hart tournament. So it's Roderick Strong and Samoa Joe. The promo was okay. I mean, you know the little spot I'm talking about right after the match. I mean, not so bad.
Yeah, you're talking about Samoa Joe and Roderick Strong, correct?
Yeah. It was
okay. Yeah, so what I saw from that, it looked like the spot after, Joe took care of Roderick Strong for sure. He made sure that he hit just enough of the chair to get the effect and everything, maybe the sound of the chair just to hit, but you were not going to hurt Roderick Strong that way. Did you see that as well?
Well, I did during the match, and I was just referring to the promo that they did after that. They had the little short promo before the the big Muro match. The big Muro match, the big opponent. Jabroni number 2. What was it? Anthony Henry, I believe, was the name, if I got that right. But
just a forgettable name, really, but yeah.
Yeah, sounds like an 80s hairband guy. He was a bass player. But anyway, yeah. Jabroni. Oh, no, wait a minute. Actually, I didn't write this down, but I remember now, wasn't Jabroni number 2 actually a pretty decent, yeah, he was a pretty decent independent, wrestler. I think he was in a tag team. I'm not sure the name or anything, but actually, because he had some moves and they were, Muro's got to sell and he did sell. Muro, I think it showed me every side. The killer, the playing to the crowd, the baby face, how do you know what he's going to do? He's insane, and all the way, kind of all the aspects. The kaleidoscope, I guess you would say, of a wrestler. I mean, what did you think of the match?
Oh, okay. So, Anthony Henry, at first I was just thinking, oh, they're getting a little overbearing with these squash matches now. And then as the match went on, I actually put in my notes, this is a squash. It's a pretty long squash because it didn't really feel like one. It seemed like we can't have this guy completely buried, but he is facing Miro. Miro is a giant, so he's still going to beat him in the end. And they didn't make it too long. The match, it wasn't great, which when it's that short, you can't really get all that much out of it. But I feel like it did its job, which is build up Miro and just show enough of this Anthony Henry guy. It was barely a taste of him, I felt like. I didn't really get to see enough of it. So yeah, I couldn't really think too much of it, not having enough of it. That's kind of how I felt. It left me wanting more, man. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, they're definitely doing the Miro, the Redeemer. But they're doing his build, giving his push. So, I mean, I see something a little later on with CM Punk or somebody. They got to go big after I guess Switchblades are probably going to be next. But speaking of, and you know what? I may have been a little quick on the jabroni number 2. Maybe we'll do jabroni with a small J.
But not quite jabroni.
Yeah, make it look kind of legit. But after that, you've got Juice and the Bullet Club and FTR and the Ho Kang doing their promo and finding out that they are not able to be ringside with Ricky Starks and Juice Robinson during their match. So good little start. All these angles, everything. So I mean, what do you think where we're at right now in the show?
So as I was watching this, in my notes, I was saying that looks like the Guns have joined the Bullet Club. I kind of feel like they could change the name at this point, and it really wouldn't make that much of a difference, but they still want to keep the Bullet Club tie. Maybe give them just a little bit of a distinction as they're in AEW with these two, because I just don't feel like they're true bona fide Bullet Club members, seeing as who has walked through those doors with that logo. I did enjoy the promo. I really kind of got a giggle out of when the Guns were saying, "We have 2 words for you," and you hear the crowd yelling out DX the moniker, which I will not say, being that the show is PG. But I enjoyed that they corrected the crowd saying, no, it's Guns Up. And, just everybody having that moment of, I guess, shock. Once again, both sides going at each other from both teams. It was just still very good. I enjoyed hearing, God, who was it that said something about shooting blanks? It was somebody on FTR said something about, man, the Bullets or the Gun Club has been shooting blanks for a long time and you're just now getting anywhere, something along those lines. I really enjoyed that. And during that, I also saw a sign in the crowd that said, "Where did Sabu go?" Not sure why, but it caught my eye and I found it kind of funny. What do you think, Mark?
I missed the sign, and I try to watch them a lot. But I think they're doing good with all of this, all the build up and everything. And something about Juice just makes me laugh every time. And I didn't know he was married to Toni Storm. For that. So, they broke that out. But yeah, every time I see Juice, it's like when he starts talking, I just see some guy telling me, knock the milk jugs down and, you win a prize. But we go into the match, man. And hey, the match is good. The match is good because I love a match when a screw up happens and they make it look good. And Ricky Starks tripped. And when Juice went down to the ground, when he was going over him, he tripped a little bit, went into the ropes, started playing it immediately. And then Juice immediately goes, "We're smart." And they covered it up. It's like somebody punched a hole in the wall, and the next time you looked at the wall, it was repaired. Now that is some professionals. I mean, my humble opinion, sir. What did you think?
I agree. That botch, it was very well covered up by Juice Robinson. I enjoyed seeing him laying down and just posing, and I think he wagged a finger or something at him as well with it. It just makes it so much more entertaining, and it makes you feel like, was this part of the show, or was this really a screw-up? Because part of me wasn't sure in the moment, and you saying that it was a botch, I'm honestly kind of on the fence. I'm not completely sure. But it was very enjoyable. Throughout the match, I kept thinking, this feels like they set up a big move, but then they counter it. This is a lot of almost big moves happen. You know what I mean, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. And man, the match was great, and the way they let Starks pull it off, I mean, great. But when they jumped Starks after the match, and the run in by CM and FTR and all that, it made me feel old. Because CM Punk, it was like, they were waiting for the door to open on the small disabled bus, and they ran down there with their walkers, and it was the weakest run in that I've seen in a while. Just
All right, I agree with you. It was kind of weak the way they did it. They could have been a little quicker with coming down.
it was like, we're coming, and they sent it on telegraph.
Yeah, it makes me think of the movie Deadpool. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a comic book character, but the character's pretty sarcastic, and he's hunting down people for information. At one point, he's yelling to somebody in an ice rink, "You're gonna get run over by a Zamboni in 5 minutes." Just slowly chase him down with the Zamboni is pretty funny. That's what you talking about that makes me think of.
Actually, to tell you the truth, they did look like some Zambonis coming down there. Actually, that's pretty good. I like that. We got Luchasaurus and Christian, of course, coming out, doing their little deal, and Christian, putting the thumb in the eye in an interview like he can do verbally so well. But you got Spears coming down. You got Sean Spears coming down. Perfect 10, and I'm not going to do it 10 times. But anyway, he comes down, and I think he does pretty good. He does good enough that he makes Luchasaurus growl. So, I mean, what did you think of the interview?
So I thought it was goofy in the beginning. Once again, we're seeing Christian and Luchasaurus. Christian is taking all the fame. Oh, yes, we are the champion type of thing. And then seeing Spears come down, I'll be honest, man, I forgot his name when he came out this time, because between him and WWE and here, God, wasn't he like TJ Perkins or something like that before?
Oh, yeah, I think it was something that probably had Tom Selleck play it in the 80s. Yeah, I can't remember the exact name they used, but it was something. Yeah, something
right.
like that.
But yeah, I enjoyed seeing him. I enjoyed his promo. I thought he seems pretty confident in the way he was speaking, and that's kind of what I enjoy. It shows that you're less likely to slip up, in my opinion. Christian has to be one of the funniest heels that I've seen in a while with this promo, or with this whole angle that he's pulling right now. Him and Luchasaurus just being almost co-champions at this point, when Luchasaurus is the real belt holder. I don't understand why he keeps on with like, well, I am the champ, when somebody says, well, I want to speak to the champ. It's like, come on, man, just step to the side. It's a great heel angle. I'm really enjoying it, but sometimes my brain just kind of messes with me on it and how to enjoy it. But anyways, yeah, enjoyable. So the next match was Lady Frost versus Chris Statlander, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, man, I'm going to start with you, Mark. What did you think about this going off, man? It was not my favorite.
Well, it was a TBS championship match. And Lady Frost, I did hear him say that her grandfather used to tag with Bruno Sammartino, and I did not know his name off the cuff there, but I should have looked it up myself. But I tell you, the one thing I do like, yes, as far as the match, I just don't think their timing was there. I think, I just don't think everything was great on this match, but I do respect the crap out of Chris Statlander. My mother was deaf, and she does a little sign language every time she comes out, and I don't know if she's speaking to someone or if she's just getting the word out, but I appreciate it myself.
Very nice. So as soon as I saw Lady Frost step out, my initial reaction in my notes was, is this the female version of Glacier? And I know my uncle, the gardener, would be laughing a little bit if he knew about that. But with her performance, I may have been right from what I was seeing. I don't know if her timing was off or what, but it felt like she was botching left and right. And I felt bad for Statlander, because seeing what she was kind of dealing with, it felt like, I don't know what the female version of a jabroni would be besides, whatever this was tonight.
Mrs. Jabroni.
Yeah, I guess so. But so during it, once again, I saw a few botches. One of them was supposed to be on the waist lock. It looked like Lady Frost's leg went in between Chris Statlander's legs instead of both of them around the waist like it was supposed to. I saw after that, it was like both of them were slowly getting up, and I saw Statlander pull Frost's head to her, and it looked like she was using the hair to kind of cover whatever she was trying to say to her. And then after a couple seconds, AEW went to commercial again. I'm not supposed to get commercials in Fight TV, so that threw me off once again. I'm starting to think AEW is learning how to hide things that were messed up in the live recording and just trying to make sure that the home audiences don't see it, but the live audience still obviously can, and they're going to remember and potentially tell people. But yeah, overall, it was a rough match to watch, and I felt really bad for Statlander because I'm a fan of hers. I have been since first time I saw her. I believe it was on Rampage. And yeah, I've been a big fan of hers, but man, this match was bad.
Yeah, and Chris, of course, wins the match, and who knows if we'll see Lady Frost again. But we go into the promo about the mask with House of Black, and I'm going to ask you, Maverick, who else is in this interview?
Andrade El Idolo.
Yeah, what he's and and I liked the interview. I liked I like Andrade. I really wish they could figure the right stuff to do with him. But hey, maybe it is against the House of Black because that could be the angle that they need. But I just remember when he was hollering the mask. I loved it. I thought it was great. I just liked the little guy on what was that? Treasure Island. Deplane. He wanted his mask. So,
on Fantasy Island, the little dude, yeah.
He wanted his mask, but what did you think of the gentleman that you so namely said correctly?
So Andrade is a very good performer. Even just these short promos, I am impressed by. Seeing the way that the House of Black is playing this out, I'm not sure which angle is going to happen, but I feel like Andrade is going to descend into madness somehow. It's going to be some sort of dark turn for him. I think it's going to be a great angle. I feel like the storyline is going to go somewhere. It's going to be really good. We may even go that supernatural route. We may see something like, I don't know, maybe something similar to The Undertaker in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And look, we go into the actual president of Collision, which is CM Punk. I know I'm just kidding. CM Punk is calling the next match to see who his opponent will be, and it's Roderick Strong versus Samoa Joe. I like it. I like the way the Strong comes out like moving around and trying to stay mobile, and Joe's like very slow and methodical. And good match and kind of done the way you would expect the match done. Roderick Strong gets his spots, but the size, the experience, and at one point in time, I believe CM Punk said the big melon head of Samoa Joe. It's a prevailing, but what did you think, my friend?
So they are building this up extraordinarily well for CM Punk versus Samoa Joe again, because I believe they had a rivalry back in 2006, they mentioned, in ROH many moons ago. But I'm enjoying seeing the way that they're playing this out. The match itself, it wasn't bad, but I'm not sure if it was me or what was going on, but I felt a little bit of a hard time focusing on it at certain times. I felt like I was focusing more on just what CM Punk was saying rather than the match. And I'm not sure why. It's kind of bothering me that I didn't really pay attention as much. The fans were chanting at one point just for CM Punk mid-match instead of Samoa Joe or Roderick Strong. And that kind of, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, seeing that going on. But, match happened. Didn't seem bad or anything. I really enjoyed teased chairs a little bit at the end with CM Punk and Samoa Joe both picking them up at the end. Like, hey, I've got one too. Come on, buddy. And then seeing how Samoa Joe doing that ending spot against Roderick Strong, it wasn't necessarily bad the way he did it. He made sure to take care of Roderick, and I really can appreciate that. Then afterwards, seeing Adam Cole step out kind of made me question, is he trying to pull the ultimate babyface or something here? What did you think, Mark?
Oh man, I think it was played Memphis Wrestling style 1979. I think it's getting carted out. You have Adam Page, Adam coming out, or Adam Cole, coming out, and Bebe, and checking on his, buddy. They had legit looking EMTs. Nobody jumped them after the match, and the Samoa seemed to leave, after he kind of left quickly up the ramp on one of the angles I saw. So it played it to the crowd like, hey, was this for real? Cause he got knocked up. He got knocked out. That's kind of where hat, and the ref has to stop the match. And it was so bad. There were so many people mad that a Rockwaller just randomly just started barking. What did you think of how? This is the last of the match. This is how we go off the air. I kind of thought, it kept people watching to the end.
Yeah, I agree. It kept us glued to our seats, really. As we're watching at the end, we're kind of just seeing these EMTs coming out. There was only a couple of things that really hinted to me that this wasn't legitimate, and that was just seeing certain people being in the way that the camera was just in Roderick Strong's face while the EMTs are like trying to get him on the stretcher and everything. That immediately told me, okay, it's a sell right now, but they did a very good job with it. I think anybody in the live crowd may have been questioning, did he really just get hurt? And I think they played it very well. Overall, the match was good. I feel like Samoa Joe is just a great performer. I really have appreciated him since the TNA days back in, I want to say 2008 or 9. I would really start watching back then between him and Jay Lethal and all those guys that were there. Man, I've just really appreciated watching his career develop over time. I really always loved seeing Samoa Joe, very professional person in the ring. What do you think of Samoa Joe there, Mark?
I like Samoa Joe. He is, he's built himself up. He has stayed with his image or his stick, and he's perfected it. And I think he does great. Either way it goes, he's just a little injury prone. Other than that, I love him, but man, like I said, the ref stops the match. Samoa Joe will be facing CM Punk for the second time on AEW coming up next week. So, that's going to be our matches. Hobbs and, I'm sorry, who was that? Who will Hobbs be facing next week? Who was it? Oh, I feel terrible now. I can't even look it on my, so you got Samoa Joe and CM Punk, and then Hobbs and, oh my crap. Oh, anyway, it doesn't matter. Because they're going to tell us 100 million times before this match actually comes up. So we will hear about it. So, man, that does pretty much the show there, my friend. And, I think we pulled it off. I was really, I didn't have to call Rocky, and ask him anything. So we did good there. We didn't bug Rocky, and, we left Michael alone. So, I think we did okay. What do you think there, my bud?
I think we did all right. I think we covered this show pretty well. So to end the show, do you have any shout outs for anybody or anything you want to do before we close it out?
Oh man, I'm too old for shout outs. If I do, my teeth might fall out.
My friend. Well, I actually want to give a shout out to Gardner Michael Gross just for getting me into this kind of stuff. Just wanted to give that out real quick. Also, you guys can reach me on Twitter at Maintenance Mav. I've changed my handle to that recently, so you guys would all be able to talk to me. Hey, message me. Let me know how I'm doing. If you guys think that I can do something better, or maybe that I'm, just screwing up on something, let me know. I want to know so I can improve. Let me know what the people are thinking, guys. So yeah, that's all for me. What do you got, Mark?
I like that. Sometimes you might not want to hear. It is, but it is what it is. Yeah. And look, man, I've enjoyed the show. I missed Rocky and Michael, but they will be back next week. And as I said, we didn't have to call Rocky one time, although I think I have to call Rocky after the show. But anyway,
Me too.
look, of course, there's the NXT show every week, that I host. And other than that, man, it is all straight up just, love from us here. So, guys, we'll just fold it up, and this is Memphis Mark with Maverick, maintenance Maverick, that is. We're going to close it out. If you can, rescue and spay and neuter. And other than that, my friends, we are out.